Hi, I'm Maryjo with Fourth Dimension Healing in Stillwater, Minnesota. I'm also the director of the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies, which is my online school, and I am the host of the Ask, Learn, Heal podcast. And you can learn more about the types of healing sessions that I offer, mentoring sessions, some of my free and in-depth coursework that I have available through my school, as well as exploring some guided meditations and other offerings that I have through my podcast. All those links are below this video, so go ahead and take a look at those. Today I want to talk for just a few minutes about how we can work with crystals and gemstones to support us as we are in the process of shifting our mood. So when I think about how our emotional state is in flux, it's always shifting, right? We're always going in and out of balance physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And there can be times when we perhaps feel like we are really needing a little bit of an adjustment in our mood. So my sense is, first of all, there are different ways to approach it, certainly from working with crystals and gemstones. And so it is helpful for us to think about, do we have a sense of why we are a little bit dysregulated? Are we ramped up and anxious? Are we feeling a little bit more in a funk and more kind of in that state of lethargy, being really lethargic? There are different ways to approach mood support with crystals and gemstones, and I hope that as you listen to this for the next few minutes, you'll get a sense of how better to get some clarity around what might be going on with you, and then how gemstones and crystals can support you. So the first stone I want to share with you a little information about is Lepidolite. And I have other videos about all of these stones that we're going to be talking about today, so you can always go ahead and just take a peek at my YouTube channel. There's a little hourglass icon. If you click on that, a search bar opens and you can type in any of these different stones that we're going to be talking about today, and you can learn more about them. So this is Lepidolite. Now Lepidolite is an aluminum silicate. It is a stone that has a fair amount of lithium in it, and lithium can be really stabilizing for our brain chemistry to be able to help calm that nervous system. It is a very soft stone. It has a hardness of about 2.5 to 3. So we have to be really careful with soft stones that we just don't throw them in the dish with a lot of other harder stones, because they will get nicked and scratched up. Lepidolite is really a wonderful stone to work with if we are experiencing anxiety, if we're experiencing that kind of ramped up state in our nervous system. And by working with these stones that we're going to be talking about briefly today, it could be that you're intentionally holding a stone while you're doing some quiet sitting and meditation. It could be that you're slipping it inside your pillowcase. It could be that you're very intentionally working with Lepidolite as part of a crystal grid. And I have videos about that as well. You can always reach out to me anytime through email or chat through my website if you have questions that pop up when you are listening to any of my teachings. So Lepidolite is just such a wonderful stone. It really supports all the chakras. It particularly supports the heart and the brow chakra. And so when we are working with a dysregulated mood, we are definitely having an imbalance within our brain state. And anytime we can drop healing into our heart space, that's where the healing takes place. It's like that's the sweet spot. That's the magic space. So as we are feeling ramped up, if we can work on calming down, Lepidolite's a great stone to help us with that and really get into that heart space. We do calm down, and that resets our nervous system. So that's Lepidolite, and I think that can be really helpful. It resonates with the water element. I wanted to mention that too. So if you don't know the system of elements I work with, earth, fire, water, wind, and storm, you can find more videos about that as well. So that's water. The other two stones, the next two stones rather, are stones that resonate with the wind element. So wind really is up here in our brain space, whereas water tends to be more related to emotions. Wind tends to be more related to thought process. So if we're feeling like we have, there's just so much going on in our brain, there's so much going on in our life, we're feeling overwhelmed, we really really feeling like that's what is causing our mood disruption, then this is when wind element stones can be really helpful. And the first one I want to show you is fluorite. Now, fluorite is a calcium fluoride. It's made out of that. This is a piece of a rainbow fluorite, which means you're going to have good representation of a variety of different hues within the stone. Now, rainbow fluorite may appear as a piece of only purple or only green or only light white clear. And that's because you can see here, depends on what part of the stone, what aspect of the vein of that particular stone is encapsulated within that particular tumbled piece of fluorite that you may have. So anyway, fluorite is really amazing. Tumbled, I love working with tumbled stones. It is another soft stone. It's at about a 4 on the most hardness scale. And so again, we want to be mindful not to just kind of throw it in to a container with a lot of other stones. Here is a naturally occurring octahedron of fluorite. You can see that it has this isometric cubic structure, which can be really stabilizing when we are not only working on clearing out some cluttered thoughts and overactive energy within our brain, which is causing us to have that kind of funky mood. It also is very stabilizing, just because of its structure. And while I'm holding this one, I wanted to just do a little mini lesson on the hardness factor, okay? So this was the lepidolite. It's 2.5 to 3. This is fluorite, it's 4. That means this is harder than, the fluorite is harder than the lepidolite, which means it will scratch, okay? Lepidolite will not scratch. The fluorite will be scratching the lepidolite. So that's just kind of a visual explanation of what we're talking about when we have hardness factors. So that's a wind element stone. Now the next wind element stone that I want to show you, which it's really complex. It has a hardness of 6, and it is such a complex, it has such a complex chemical structure. I actually wrote down some of the different chemicals you're going to find. So I'm just going to read those to you. In charoite here, you are going to find potassium, sodium, calcium, oxygen, silicone, barium, and others. So it's pretty complex. Here's another piece. I absolutely love working with charoite. Get my stones mixed up. It connects with heart. It connects with mind, that brain space, settles that brain. It has a very nurturing quality, and it's also supports all the chakras. So going back to the fluorite, here we have a lot of action going on in that brow and crown chakra. This has that action going on in the head space, particularly the brow, and also the heart, and all of the chakras. So this is a wind stone, just as the fluorite was, yet they have subtle property differences, which I think really come into play when we are addressing what is going on as we're supporting our mood shift. If I'm feeling really cluttered, really overwhelmed, it could be that fluorite could be really helpful. If I'm feeling really overwhelmed, have that cluttered brain space, and really feeling like there's something quite wrong and I'm getting down on myself related to that, I think that would be an example where charoite could be really helpful, because what you're doing is you're really bringing that healing into your heart space, so that you're opening that heart space to your own self-compassion and self kind of allowing that unsettledness to be there until it's not there. So I hope I'm not confusing you, but I hope you can see that there are subtle differences, again, even though these are 2 wind stones. Now, the final stone I wanted to talk with you about today, as it has to do with mood regulation and kind of getting ourselves back on track, is actually a stone that resonates with fire, and it is citrine. Okay, So citrine is amethyst, which I actually do not have in front of me a piece of amethyst, my apologies. But once amethyst gets heated up, it changes its properties to become citrine. Now these are actually two pieces of what is referred to as common citrine. And common citrine simply is a way of saying it's heat treated. It means that amethyst was unearthed and then the stone was heated up. Natural citrine is heated up naturally while it is still in the earth. So citrine, being a firestone, can be really activating for motivating, for getting us perhaps more regulated within our mood, because we're feeling less constricted and more abundant. That is why I really want to talk with you about citrine. And you can always check out my online shop to see the different types of citrine I carry. I do carry natural citrine as well. There's something about common citrine that has, for me, a kind of an extra boop when I work with it. I don't know if that's your experience or not. And so when I was kind of discerning and selecting stones to talk with you about today, it's the common citrine that was really making itself kind of front and center. Citrine is a form of quartz. It has a hardness of 7. So this is going to scratch all the other stones that I just showed you. It's that fire, it's that motivation, it's that abundance. And it really does work with that third chakra particularly. And that third chakra is a mental processing energy center. So again, it's supporting the nervous system in a way that's slightly different than some of the other stones that I talked about, which were supporting the nervous system up here in the brain space. So that is just a little information about how we can actually kind of support our mood imbalances and help us kind of get regulated once again. So whether we're approaching it from an emotional and nurturing space, such as with the lepidolite, or more of a wind space and heart-centered space that we find working with the charoite or the fluorite, or from more of that kind of oomph energy, that fiery, empowering energy that comes from the citrine. All of those can really be helpful when we are supporting our shifting moods and working to maintain and regulate as much as possible our emotional and mental balance. These are the stones that I would recommend you consider exploring and working with. Go ahead and check my online shop to learn more about the stones that I've been talking about, as well as seeing what I may have available. You can also please send me a chat right through my website or send me an email, and I'd be happy to get back to you if you have specific questions. Go ahead and check out the links below this video. All of my podcast episodes include guided meditations. I have a couple of free ebooks, as well as some free mini courses through my online school, as well as a variety of different healing modalities that I offer for support. So let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, for now, I simply wish you many blessings. Be well.